Marvel Studios has some secret projects that they have yet to release or even have begun to work on yet, but they could be the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe next to the X-Men after Avengers Secret Wars. What's going on, Cosmic Crew? Thanks for stopping by the channel today. We have a list of a lot of what seem to be movies. They could be shows, but most of them seem to be movie titles, especially some new Avengers titles. And Marvel Studios, they locked in the copyrights for these in 2022, and it seems like most people have forgotten about them. But recently, the X account, King Spike, credit to them, posted a list of what they locked in 2022, and everybody is talking about it now, especially since the insider My Time to Shine Hello replied to the tweet stating, and they are all coming, with the eyes looking emoji. So I'm not sure what My Time to Shine Hello has heard, but I do know some of these are indeed going to be coming in the next phase and the next saga of the MCU. Now, there's a whole list here, and all that has really come to fruition yet with these copyrights that they listed is two things. And really kind of just one, because one is the Multiverse Saga, right? So that's what we're in now. They have the copyright for that. That makes sense. But the only other one on this list that has come to fruition or is yet to even be announced is Avengers Secret Wars. The rest are either coming or perhaps Marvel won't make them. But again, according to My Time to Shine Low, I would say a lot of them are coming. I wouldn't say all of them are coming, but this very well could be the future of Marvel Studios. And just so you're aware, this list does come from a massive batch of trademark filings found on the European Union Intellectual Property Office, and they appeared on the website July 22nd, 2022, which was just one day before Marvel Studios' Hall H presentation at San Diego Comic-Con. And at the time, major outlets like IGN, Variety, they all reported on these filings because they accurately did predict some of the announcements that happened the very next day, like the Multiverse Saga and Avengers Secret Wars. So these are very real, and this is very much what could be coming for Marvel Studios. And I do believe, I would say most of these are going to come. And the first three we'll talk about, because they are in alphabetical order, the Avengers. You've probably heard this one, or maybe you've seen a thumbnail or something about it, but Avengers Eternity Wars. It doesn't seem like in Avengers Doomsday or Avengers Secret Wars, we're gonna dive too much into the cosmic gods side of things. We did see Eternity in Thor Love and Thunder, but that was very brief, and although I thought Eternity looked pretty freaking cool, I would expect cosmic beings to show up in Doomsday, but we haven't really heard much about them. Maybe we'll get some cameos, like we've seen the Living Tribunal and Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness as well, but they've yet to play a very important role like they do in the comics. But Eternity Wars kind of sounds like a movie where the Celestials and other cosmic gods would be in there. We've actually heard that the Celestials are going to return in some way, shape, or form. It might not specifically be an Eternals movie because, spoiler alert, they're not on here. There's no copyright for a second Eternals movie. We might get it, but from what we've heard, doesn't seem likely. So Eternity Wars, I'm super excited for that. The next one, Avengers Excursion. This kind of seems like it would be maybe like a big adventure film. I'd love to know your thoughts about what you think that could be. The next one is Avengers Secret Wars, which obviously we have, but then another one, Avengers Timeless. This one is quite interesting. Maybe they registered this to possibly have been a part of something with the Kang Dynasty, but it does seem like if they go through with Avengers Timeless, this could actually definitely involve time travel, but might actually involve the multiverse again. Just because the Multiverse Saga is about to end in Avengers Secret Wars, I don't think that means that we're never going to see the multiverse again. It's a big part of the comics. I think we're going to, lay low for a little while and focus on one universe, which we should because it's going to be a new universe, but eventually we'll jump back into the multiverse. So that does it for the Avengers ones. Let me know which one you were most excited for. I would say Eternity Wars. That sounds like the most exciting one to me, but we'll have to wait and see. This one to me, again, these have been registered. These are official. This one to me is kind of a crazy title. Captain America, Red, White, and Black. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. I am actually really not sure if Anthony Mackie will be Captain America after Avengers Secret Wars. Kevin Feige already said his movie didn't do well because he wasn't Chris Evans. He wasn't Steve Rogers. And that is the Captain America that people knew and loved. And this has nothing to do with Anthony Mackie whatsoever. I actually really like Anthony Mackie, and I really like him as Captain America, but his movie didn't do so well. So maybe Marvel says, maybe we move on, especially since Secret Wars is going to reset a decent amount of the MCU as we know it, and new stories are going to begin. And he already said they're going to recast Iron Man and Captain America. So I don't really think Anthony Mackie is Captain America after Secret Wars, but we'll have to wait and see. We do have this one, Celestial's End of Time. I really like this. This might have changed recently though, because what we've heard from insiders like Alex Perez is that Marvel actually is now more likely going to consider going the Axe story route, which is the Avengers, the X-Men, the Eternals. This storyline involves the Celestials actually going to Earth to judge everybody and basically kill everybody if they deem it that way, if they deem them not worthy, if they judge them in a bad way. And that's exactly what the Eternals set up. Literally, Airsham said he's going to return for judgment. So Celestial's End of Time, that was clearly a play off of the Eternals. It doesn't even necessarily have to be an Eternals 2, and it does make sense that kind of everybody would be involved, the Avengers and the X-Men, in such a giant event where a giant celestial space god is going to come and destroy the Earth. That kind of involves everybody. So we might not get Eternals 2, but Celestial's End of Time or AXE, that could happen. I actually do think that is what is going to happen, whether it's titled Axe or Celestial's End of Time. I do believe it's coming. Now they also, this one's really interesting. They copyrighted Eternity Saga. Now, Kevin Feige specifically said that we are going to be in the mutant era of the MCU next. He didn't specifically say Mutant Saga, so he hasn't officially named that yet. Although I would bet that it is going to be the Mutant Saga, but they have the copyright for Eternity Saga. That could be after the Mutant Saga, or that could very well be what we get next. Because remember, it's so exciting that the X-Men are coming, but they are still just kind of one piece to the puzzle here. We still have the Avengers. We still have other heroes like SpiderMan. There's a lot of other things to explore. Nova's not on this list, but Brad Winderbaum, the head of Marvel Television, has confirmed that they have been working on a Nova TV series. Now, we haven't heard a lot about it recently, but I would say it's definitely going to get made. Whether they keep it a TV series or they go to a movie, I think Nova is coming because the whole cosmic side of the MCU still needs further exploration, and other sides as well, which we'll get to in this. So Eternity Saga, that could be next. Now, Hercules Rise of the Gods. Now, obviously, Hercules was in the post-credit scene for Thor Love and Thunder. It seems like they had enough faith in him to give him his own movie, or maybe series, but I would probably say movie. Like I said, most of these seem like movies. Some of them, you'll see. But Hercules Rise of the Gods, he's already in the MCU technically. It seems like he was clearly supposed to go up against Thor, but Hercules and Thor are friends in the comics. They do kind of start off as enemies, but eventually they are buddies. They become good friends, and Hercules is a good character, is a hero, not a villain. So to do that makes sense. And I would actually really like to see it. Now, the next one, we've heard a lot about this recently, the Midnight Suns. We haven't seen really much about the Midnight Suns besides the fact that Blade is no longer happening and that he's simply going to be introduced in the Midnight Suns. And we've actually we heard this a little bit ago, that Ghost Rider was actually going to be the leader. Now, originally it was supposed to be Blade. Blade was going to be the Nick Fury of the Midnight Suns, and we saw that. We saw him go to Dane Whitman, and he was basically going to recruit him, and the plan was for him to recruit other people as well and make the Midnight Suns. That's probably not the plan anymore, but the plan for the Midnight Suns movie to happen is still in place, and that's where Blade will be introduced, as well as a bunch of other really cool kind of mystic side of the MCU goes. Those mystic characters, they're going to be introduced in this as well. So nothing has changed there as far as we've heard. In fact, it sounds like that movie is going to be more important than ever. So the next one's a Multiverse Saga. Then the next one, I don't know if this one will apply anymore because of Marvel's plans, but the next one was Nomad. They registered the copyright for Nomad. So we heard a ton of reports just over time since Avengers Endgame came out that we were going to get maybe a series or a movie that was about Chris Evans, Captain America, returning the Infinity Stones, and this would be a Nomad show. Since he's returning in Avengers Doomsday, and we're probably going to get the backstory of what he has been up to since Avengers Endgame, I don't think we'll probably get Nomad. Unless it's a different version of Captain America, like a completely different new one, maybe. But considering everything they're doing with Doomsday now, and of course Secret Wars, because I'm assuming Chris Evans is in Secret Wars as well, I don't believe we'll get this. But we'll see it basically. Like the general idea of what they had for Nomad, we're gonna probably see in Avengers Doomsday. They'll show us a little bit of his backstory, but I just don't see them revisiting Nomad after Secret Wars. After Captain America's already come back, Chris Evans has returned. I don't think they'll do it again. I think that'll be it until like maybe 20 years in the future where we get RDJ back and Chris Evans back and everybody again for like another giant movie, but it'll be a while. This one's interesting and I like it. Red Guardian Generations. Red Guardian, I would honestly say, is one of my favorite characters in the MCU right now, Alexei Shostakov. And I think there's a lot of his backstory that, you know, they didn't go too much into in Black Widow, but they talked about a little bit about how he felt in the Thunderbolts. And I think there's a lot of story you could tell there. And I think it would be a really entertaining movie as well. I really do. I think David Arbor does a great job with his character. And I think he's one of the most interesting and funny characters in the MCU right now. So I'd be here for this. It might be a show. That's what I mentioned. Like most of them sound like movies. This one sounds like it could be a show. So does the next one, Runaways New Era. They want to do the Runaways in the MCU. New Era sounds like a good name for it. This could be a movie, could be a show. Again, I think these two would probably be the two shows that I would guess. Red Guardian Generations, Runaways New Era. Then we have Shang-Chi and the Wreckage of Time. We've been hearing about this one for a long time now. Simu Liu, the actor who plays Shang-Chi, has expressed that he's been kind of disappointed that it hasn't been made, but clearly Marvel Studios, they went through a lot deciding what to do and then finally deciding, hey, we're bringing RDJ back, we're bringing the Russo brothers, this is what we're doing. It's no longer Kang Dynasty, it's Doomsday, Secret Wars, etc., etc. Shang-Chi, unfortunately, I think kind of got pushed back because of that. But of course, he's a major player in Doomsday and hopefully Secret Wars as well. And hopefully we get Wreckage of Time after. I think he's a character who's going to stick around in the MCU for a pretty long time. So I'm not really worried. I think this eventually does come. And the last one, the Black Knight Origins. This kind of goes back to the whole Midnight Suns topic. Again, Dane Whitman, the Black Knight, Blade showed up at the end of the Eternals in that post-credit scene to essentially recruit him. Is he going to still get his own movie or possibly show here? I think it's a movie more than a show. It's possible because Blade is being pushed into the Midnight Suns because they just could not figure out what to do with it. Right? So maybe they have a better idea of what they want the Black Knight to be, and that movie can actually be made before the Midnight Suns, I would have to say, because I would imagine he would go on to be a part of the Midnight Suns. But if not, the Black Knight should just appear in the Midnight Suns and be a part of that team. So this could be the future of the MCU, and it lines up with what Kevin Feige talked about before. They are going to explore the cosmic side of the MCU more, and they are going to explore the mystic/supernatural side of the MCU more as well. And then, of course, the mutants are going to play a huge role in this. I'm assuming they've registered copyrights for a lot of the mutants. Mutant projects, we just haven't seen it yet. But again, this whole slate right here was reported on by a lot of outlets, and at the time was kind of crazy to see. I am assuming, I would say at least half of these are going to come to fruition. They're going to be made, but I would say half are not going to be made just because things have changed, and just with Doom coming back and Kang gone, all of that, it's changed, but some of these are going to survive, some aren't. Let me know which ones you would be most excited to see. I think the one that takes it all for me here would be Avengers Eternity Wars, and Shang-Chi, the Wreckage of Time, and the Midnight Suns. I would be most excited for them. And Celestial's End of Time. I think that would be just a visual spectacle. I think it could be a really cool story. But let me know your thoughts. What would you be most excited for in the comments down below? And please don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest Marvel news. And you can also find us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Snapchat. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.